Okay.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I think so. It says red light.
All right.
New cameraman, I'm so sorry.
We always have fun here on Saturday mornings. And we thought about playing hooky this morning. But good morning from Artistic Artifacts. We're here today to talk about Australian fabrics and inspire you and share our love and passion for these absolutely gorgeous fabrics. Before we get started, I do have a couple of announcements to make. You all know that Kaif is coming to visit us, but we were very excited yesterday that his Quilts in Wales book, absolutely gorgeous book, showed up, and it is available now on the website and in the store. The filming is gorgeous. The layout of the quilts is fabulous. This is my favorite right here, but it's absolutely beautiful book. So the fabrics in the book are expected to come in at end of August, beginning of September from Free Spirit, but the books are available now. And just a reminder that those people who sign up for his color inspiration lecture in October get this as part of their registration fee. So you can order a second one if you like, but you will get one when you come to the lecture. So another topic completely unrelated to Australian or Free Spirit fabrics is these fun new kits we have. We're not usually much into Halloween, but we could not resist these Little Miss Halloween fabrics and patterns. So we've made two kits. We've made the Felix kit and the Toil and Trouble kit. And they are available on the website. We have limited quantity of those, so they were just really fun. They've got some embroidery. This has got some applique. It actually has a piece of Suspargo wool and some threads. So fun kits, and it's a good time to get them now so you're ready for Halloween. All right, to the topic of the day. So we have loved, and primarily Judy has loved, Australian fabrics since the very beginning. I think when the shop started, Australian and Batiks were really our primary fabrics. We've obviously expanded, but the love of these designs go back to the very beginning of the shop. As you can see from the book that she published, they go extremely well with the batik panels. So many of the quilts in the book have the Aboriginal design fabrics as part of the piece. So we were inspired early on. We see them as just a fabric to be used and not treasured, and we see them no different than another collection. They mix and match well, and that's really what we hope to inspire you to today. So I've got lots to talk about. I think first I'll talk about Judy's quilt on the back. This is actually so much of Judy's style. It's a log cabin quilt. There's no pattern. It's using her leftover strips and scraps and whatever from the quilts that she made for her book. It's beautiful. She does have some traditional block patterns, but mostly it's a log cabin. And what I think this tells me when I look at it is they all go well together. You can't say, oh, well, this design, I need to match something to go with it. The colors and the designs and the movement and the fabrics just go beautifully together. So if that doesn't inspire you to get some fabric, we've got some more to do. Here's another one that we thought we really loved, and this is Kathy made this. And this is from a 3-yard quilt. This is actually from the Christmas book, but these 3-yard quilt favorite books. We've got a whole number of these books with different designs in each book, but this is Australian fabric and it works really well. This was supposed to be a holiday one. I actually have it upside down because I think it's balls, but to me they look like lollipops. But this looks much more like a Halloween quilt. So what a fun example of just using it on a small, easy pattern. The most recent one that we got in the shop was actually from Slightly Biased Quilts, who made a sample for us. And she's used a one of these 10-inch square packs of Australian fabric. So every block was a different fabric, and she was using the Centrum pattern. So what looks like a modern quilt pattern, really the aesthetic with the more solid colors and bright colors, it worked really, really well in using the Australian fabrics. So again, you're not limited to your choices. And these we have in multiple colorways. So these are always, they're 10-inch. And another one made with using those 10-inch squares was this one I made several years ago. And this is a simple disappearing 9-patch. I didn't use a pattern. I went on Pinterest or Google it, disappearing 9-patch, and used the 10-inch square blocks, cut them into 5-inch squares, picked a black and white, and picked a stripe. So it doesn't have to be a complicated pattern. It just shows off the fabrics. Any questions?
Just lots of good mornings. I haven't seen a question yet.
Okay.
But again, you got a rookie cameraman. So
That's okay. I think we have somebody else watching.
We've got
I think Judy's
we've
watching.
got Judy watching and greeting and answering people. So
And then all of you know we love the Emma pattern. So this one was several months ago. The staff, we did a curated bundles. And this was actually Kathy Edwards' curated bundle. So she has Australian, but she picked other fabrics. So she picked some blenders, some batiks, some modern cottons. And again, it shows you that you're really looking at the colors, the lines, the textures, and not so much the design pattern, though the design patterns are simply stunning in theirs. And this is the Emma pattern, which is one of our go-to patterns. But Julie keeps telling us to pick something else.
so cute.
Dudley did these a couple years ago, and she actually taught a class using these. And she made 2 versions of the same pattern. And I think this was from this Adding Layers. I think it's the ECOT quilt. So she used it where she used 4 squares or 4 diamonds. And this one she used just the larger pieces. And why I picked this one to show is she used for her color, she actually used the palette. So the palette really makes a nice, the colors of the palette, the little bit of texture in the Marcia Dursey palette. It's very easy to find colors that would pick up the colors in the Australian fabrics. And this one is one of mine. It's actually in Judy's book. I'm just dropping these in the front. This is in Judy's book, and this is where I actually took some of the batik panels. I put Misty Fuse on the back and fused them to a pieced quilt using Australian and some batiks. And the colors in batiks, these are the anthology, the lava, different collections. they really go nicely. Gives you a nice opportunity. So those are a good option if you're looking to put some solid type fabrics in with your Australian fabrics. But these were just simple strips and piecing it together. Some keyboard. It was pretty improv. The bravest part was actually cutting up the panels. So let's talk about the new Batiks. I mean, the new Australian. And first, for those, are they familiar with the Australian fabrics? They are original Aboriginal designs. M&S Textiles of Australia works with Aboriginal artists who paint the designs as part of their culture and their history. And then they work with the artist to put them into the colorways and the designs for the quilting cottons. They're a beautiful cotton, but they very much respect the artist in the work that they do in the rendition of their pieces. I've actually been following my friends who are Retreat Recreate, who I traveled with a couple years ago to Laos and Vietnam, are currently doing a handicraft tour it's called the Top of the Country tour in Australia. And their pictures yesterday actually had Aboriginal cave drawings, and some of these designs were actually in the cave drawings. So they stick really very much to their tradition, which makes them more precious and each piece comes with a story. So I don't think these new ones came with the insert
yet,
but in the past we have gotten an insert where the artist actually tells us what the design depicts. But I thought I'd show you some of the new ones. So this one is Popular Bush Tucker, and Bush Tucker's a very popular design, and that one comes in three colorways. Just glorious colors. And this one is called Women Dreaming. Actually, it looks like it should go that way. And that one also comes in three colorways. Oh, look at that. And this one is Mulga Seeds. And the thing that's nice is you could say, like, okay, look at all I need is that little bit, or this little bit. This one is one I love. This one's called Malacca Hunting. Oh, doesn't want to open up. The steps and the gecko, it just has so much movement in it. And look at the colors in this one.
I love these brighter ones that came in.
Well, and they are much brighter in colorways than some of the other Australians that we've had. So they've been fun. And I think the other piece that's nice is that this design, so there's several designs that come in multiple, so that they actually, if you're into making sure your colors all go together,
right,
they do have some really nice ability to blend. This one is unusual for them. It's Fallen Leaves. So it really is, in their own art, they have created some designs that read really nicely as a blender. And then this one is Women Gathering Bush Tucker. So there's Bush Tucker again.
We've got a reminder that we have pre-cut half yard and full yard of the entire collection.
Yes, we do.
We can't decide.
And I must say that I think the first bolts, I think we finished the first bolt. So these have gone, they've been very popular. We've been waiting for them. They only put out 2 collections a year. I think there's 24 pieces in this collection, and that's really what I'm showing you now is the new collection. And actually what I'm showing you is the half yard bundle. So, in addition to quilts, because we know people do much more than quilts, let's show you some other ideas. So, before I go on to other ideas, I also wanted to show you how well they go with other fabrics. So this is one of the last pattern that I showed you, and this is actually with the very new Bumbleberries. Absolutely exquisite line of blenders that we have in multiple colors, but look how nice that looks together. I mean, that to me, that's
perfect.
Just awesome. All right. So, leave it to me. Oh, where would the, oh, here's the other one of those. So this is one of the patterns in there.
That's one of my favorites too.
But when these came in, I grabbed a piece of this, one of these little postcard panels, and the fallen leaves, and made one of these hand stitch round bottom bags. Really easy pattern to make. Judy had actually embellished the cat, and I grabbed it because I'm a cat lover. And then I had some funky yarn in my stash, and so it was a really quick, easy project. But these patterns by Casey Stevens are really fun. So here's another idea on how you could do the same thing that I just did using these panels. So we have the postcard panels as full, so you get 9. Or on our Comment Sold website app, you can get the panels, and it's a variety of panels. 6 small Batik animals for $19.99, but you can embellish those yourself and make something. But you know, just look how much fun those colors go together. So that's one idea. And I was just like, look at this. So look, look at that.
Chris does this all day long.
So then Kathy actually brought this in today, and she made this pattern, which was the hand stitch tie-on pocket, which is really a cute little pocket you can tie on. You can put your phone in, or you know, your change or whatever. And she cut out design patterns from her Aboriginal fabrics and then embellished it with her hand stitching.
So cute.
And then just used a batik on the back. And it looks like she actually used a decorative stitch on making her her cording for her apron. And this other one that fell off while we tried to get the camera up and running. This one is actually the modern Japanese rice pouch. These are all Casey Stevens patterns that we have. I used one of these sashiko patterns, and then what I did was, once I stitched it, I put some Misty Fuse on the back so that I would lock the stitches in, so that when I cut the cloth, the stitches wouldn't unravel. And then I used one of my favorite Australian fabrics to make the bag, and took a couple of those designs and fused them onto the circles.
So cute.
and then a Deer Stella insert. So again, they go with lots of the fabrics we carry. Let's see here. This was a new one. So this is a pattern we carry, and it's the Braided Tote Quilt As You Go pattern. I modified it. I did the Quilt As You Go using 2.5-inch strips. I used, I think, 6 half-yard bundles. I have fabric left over, which will go into another project. But you could use these pre-cut strips that we have of the Australian Dreamtime roll. So it's got a whole variety of strips. They're already cut. Very easy to put together. I modified it. It does call for a braided tote where you would take your strips and put some batting in and stitch them and braid them. I actually used some webbing and covered it with some of the fabric. And then my inside is Essex, and the pockets made with the Australian fabric. So that was a bag in a day project. It was an easy project to do. And then Barbara's done little Annie patterns. So, I mean, there really is no limit as to what you can do. We don't have this particular pattern, but we do carry a lot of other little by Annie patterns. This one is actually the ultimate travel bag, and this is just awesome. Leslie made this one.
So cool.
Did she have I don't know what she put inside in this one. And she used just a complementary fabric. Yeah. But a great bag, a great tote.
Beautiful shape.
But any of the patterns would be really fun. And then to go back to the Batik panels, which is kind of where we started using them. I pulled some panels yesterday and actually worked with Ashley, our newest sales associate, and we picked some fabrics to go with some panels. So we have the Hariagoon, the really beautiful florals. Wouldn't that look fun with, this is that new.
Perfect.
And then this is one of my all-time favorite ones of the black and white, because you can cut strips, and actually these strips on this, they all look like they're different fabric, but it's the one fabric, and I just cut the different designs. So it's a great piece of fabric to have in your stash to use, and so is this black. It really, they just set the colors off really nicely. So that's with the Hariagoon panel. And then we picked this one out. And we thought that looked really nice. It pulls out the yellows and the greens and the blues.
Perfect.
And this is a, this is a Jacqua panel. And which one is this? Women Dancing Near the Waterhole by Christine Doolin. And that's a beautiful piece of fabric. But again, you see there's an overall design. I think somebody asked on Creative Minds a couple weeks ago is how do you cut into these designs? I mean, you can make that as a block, but at the same time, you could just look at it as a design element, and it's just curves and textures. And just look how it just enhances and brings out the patterns in the Indonesian panel. Sorry. And then another fun one, and this one Ashley actually picked this out. that's that black and white I showed you earlier. This is another Jacqua panel. And the Jacqua panels come in different sizes, and every one is different. These are all the artisan batik panels. Each one is different. Each one is different colorways. But just look how that design and the dots, the colors, it picks up the background. It just pops. I mean, these are just very similar colors. So it's a perfect match to have the Australians with the batik panels. And then they're also, I showed you with the new bumbleberries, but I also thought this is another Australian designer. She's not an Aboriginal designer, but Denise Burkett. But I thought how much fun that little piece of fabric goes with hers. So it's picking up the colors and the design elements from her fabrics. But this is the bush medicine with long stripes, which is what I used on here, was the purple way. And they're also perfect for garments. We're not garment sewers, but Jen actually brought in these. These are fun, just fun, easy pattern. She's got them with Batiks. So she used Aboriginal with Batiks. Harry, who was here last week, taking the serger class, he has made some absolutely beautiful men's shirts, button-down collars, the whole placket with the Australian for both he and his husband. And I know Natasha, who also has been in. She made some very, very cute sundresses for her girl models. Her children are absolutely gorgeous, and she's made some real fun sundresses with the Australian fabric. So
Harry says he'll post the shirts on our Facebook page.
Oh, good. Thanks, Harry, for joining us this morning. So you can tell we have a passion for it. One last piece is, it doesn't have to be limited to these type of projects. You can use it in your art. So this is actually one of my own pieces. I think you've seen this fabric a couple times today. I used it in the straps. It's one of my favorite Aboriginal ones. But these are upholstery samples. So I cut them up. I've beaded. The design elements in the Australian just beg to be beaded. Look at all those French knots and beads. I mounted it, mounted the little quilt on this. This is mounted again on a piece of batik that I have painted with a stencil using our paints. And then it's mounted on a canvas. But so you can make pieces of art as well as clothing, bags, quilts. It's limited to your own imagination and your own creativity. So hope we've inspired you today. Any questions?
People are asking about the pants, so Jen will have to chime in there.
I don't know that she had a pattern. I mean, it's really a pretty simple pants pattern with an elastic waist in it.
All right. Carol Miller, the first small bag that was shown that used small panels, what is the pattern name? So we had a couple.
I know which one it was.
You showed the round bottom bag.
It was
the
round bottom bag. And I don't know where the bag went.
Probably got put on the floor.
It's the round bottom bag that I made with the panel. It was the little cat panel, and I used this fabric and then one of the fallen leaves that was in the purple way.
Harry said, "Great job, Chris."
Oh, thanks, Harry. All right. Any questions?
Got some specific questions, which we'll
answer afterwards.
Get answers for them. So,
and then we're still working on what we're going to do for next Saturday morning. We're waffling between taking a vacation or sharing how do I do that with some mixed media products. So watch watch for that. And then our next live sale is actually going to be on August 25th. And it's Indonesian products that we are anxiously awaiting our shipment from Indonesia, but we hope to have sarongs and chops and some other unique items that won't be listed in the shop just yet. And the last thing I want to say is please sign up for our newsletter. Facebook and Instagram algorithms do not in any way reach the people who follow us. We see what the reach is, and it's minimal in comparison to how many of you follow us. So the best way to stay in touch is to sign up for our newsletter. You can go to the website, you sign up on there. If you're a new sign up, you get a 10% discount coupon code when you've verified your subscription, and it comes out Wednesday, once a week. It's got all the new products, inspiration, upcoming events, promotions. That's our go-to source for what you can find at Artistic Artifacts. And then if you haven't watched our shop tour on the Jaftex Video Challenge, please do. Judy does a wonderful job showing you what the store's like inside, and we're racking up the numbers on there, and we'd love to be the top of the leaderboard on the challenge. So thanks for joining us this morning. We appreciate your time. Thanks. Finish. And there a button that